Hello guys, once again welcome to Lali's EduHub, and today we are going to learn something very easy and interactive. So we'll be learning what geoprocessing is and some of the geoprocessing tools in GIS and how to create simple maps in the ArcMap software. So from my previous video sessions, we learned on how to map with the quantum GIS, that is the QGIS. However, for today, we'll be learning how to um, perform certain geoprocessing tools and also map with the Q or the ArcMap. How to map with the ArcMap. So before we get started, let's start to explain what geoprocessing is. So geoprocessing allows performing of GIS and tags. So one might be wondering what are these GIS tags? So some of the GIS tags we know is the spatial analysis and modeling. So we usually perform geoprocessing tools to arrive at these things. And then geoprocessing performs an operation on GIS datasets and produces a new dataset. So we have a dataset, and then we would like to perform a geoprocessing operation on it in order to arrive at a new dataset, which would be helpful in our um, analysis and modeling. So we are going to start by looking at some of the processing tools, that is the merge, the union, the buffer, the clip, and the merge, and a whole lot more. So let's get started. So buffers are proximity functions. So when you use this geoprocessing tool, it creates a polygon at a set distance surrounding the feature. So for example, a buffer is a polygon or a collection of cells that are within a specified proximity of a set of features. So as you have here, if you should buffer this information, it is going to create a proximity function. So a polygon will be created around that feature for you. So that is basically what the buffer feature is all about. So these are some of the examples. And then we also have the clip tool. So the clip tool is an overlay function that cuts out an input layer to the extent of a defined feature boundary. So the result of this tool is a new clipped output layer. And also, to clip data, you need points, lines, or polygon as inputs and polygons as a clipping extent. So let's say our main data is a polygon feature, and then we would like to clip an information, let's say a line feature or a polygon feature. So when you successfully clip a point feature into a polygon feature, then we say you have performed a clipping operation, or you have used the clipping tool. So when we use our ArcMap, we are going to see what the clipping tool is. And then we also have the merge tool. So the merge tool combines data sets that are the same data type. So we have point features, line features, or polygon features. So when you run a merge tool, the resulting data would be merged into one. And one thing we should also know that the merge tool only works for features of the same data types. So I'll be able to merge only points and point features, lines and line features, and polygon features. So for example, there's no way we can merge a point and a polygon into one data set. So as you can see here, we have a polygon. So when you merge, this is what we are going to arrive at. You can't merge a polygon and a point feature or a line feature. And then we also have the dissolve tool. So the dissolve tool, what it does is it unifies boundaries of a common attribute value. So in other words, the dissolve merges neighboring boundaries if the neighbors have the same attribute. So let's say I have um, an attribute information, and I would like an attribute information of um, two countries or cities or what have you, and then these boundaries tend to have the same attribute, so it will be easier to use the dissolve to perform this operation. So for example, if you want to remove the borders of a country to form a continent, the dissolve tool is the tool to use, but you would need an attribute for each country and a continent it belongs to. So as you can see, this is um the this is an example of a dissolve tool. So this is an example we have here. What do Germany, Yemen, Tanzania, and Vietnam all share in common? So they are examples of two countries dissolving their border and unifying to form one country. So when we use West Germany and East Germany, you are going to get Germany. And also we have the intersect tool. So the intersect tool is very similar to the clipping tool because the extent of input defines or define the output. And then we have this what we have here. So you have an intersection here, and then you intersect it with this feature. So definitely you are only going to get the points that intersect. So this one is just like the basic mathematics we did in various schools. So we have A intersection B, A intersection C. So this is what the intersection tool is also about. And then opposite of the intersection is the union tool. So the union tool is also an example of the simple mathematics we do. So we have A union B, A union C. So some say the union tool should come with a bottle of antacid. Wow. So the union tool gets a bad reputation because it creates a lot of features. The union tool maintains all inputs and feature boundaries and attributes in the output feature class. So after running this geoprocessing tool, it gets a bit messy, especially when there are more overlaps. So this is also what um, the union tool is about. So we have this as one, this as one, and this as one. So three um three features here, and then we want to perform a union. So the union is here. So this is what you are going to arrive at. So one data set and with five features. So one, two, three, four, five features. However, in our initial input, we only had data sets, one data set and then another data set. However, three features, that is one, two, and three. So when we perform the union tool, even though the data set becomes one, it is going to entail lots of features. So as you can see, we have five features. And then the erase tool. So the last one is I like the erase tool because it's always helpful to erase things. So as the name suggests, erase. You like to take off something in a feature you don't like. So the erase tool removes features in that overlap the erase features. So you have this data set and then you like to take off this portion. So when you take it off, this is what you are going to arrive at. So these are some of the examples, and this is the reference list. So you can copy and paste this into your browser to access this information directly. So let's get on to our ArcMap and see how we can perform this spatial analysis tool. So one way to access your geoprocessing tool is here. So when you click on it, the various list of geoprocessing tools are going to appear. So as you can see, we have the buffer, the clip, the intersect, the union, merge, dissolve. So for today, we are going to learn how to use the buffer and the clip and some other more features. So that's what we'll be taking a look at today. So to get started, you load your your data set. Oh, I clicked on something. So let's give it a minute to respond. Okay. So another way to also access the analysis tool or the geoprocessing tool is to use the arc toolbox. So as you can see from our analysis tool, we have the extract, the overlay, the proximity, and then the statistics. But for today, we are going to limit ourselves to the simple geoprocessing tool, that is the buffer, the clip, and the extent. So let's load our data. And you know, to load your data, you need to have your folder connections. So this is my first data set, and I would like to just take a portion out of this as my region of interest. So you can do that by going to your attributes table and select the town of your choice. So to do that, as you can see, it's here. So this is a portion you are selecting, so central, and you can go back, right click again and select selection. Wow, and select selection. And from here, you click on create layer from selected features. We are come to create a layer from the selected features we have created here. So you click on it and you can see it has changed and it has appeared in our table of contents. So should we uncheck this, this is what we are going to have, and we can zoom in. So for our first geoprocessing tool, let's first perform the clipping. So I hope we do remember what the clipping is about. So the clipping tool is an overlay function that cuts out an input layer to the extent of a defined feature boundary. So this is one of our data sets, and let's upload the feature we would like to clip into this data set. So I like to digitize the town, the shapefile, close, and as you can see, this is it. Very, very, very huge. So we just want to clip just the section in which it falls into our input data. So to do that, you can come to your geoprocessing tool, then come to clip, and it opens. So as you can see, ArcMap make things very easier for you. So clip, extract input features that overlay the clip features. So use this tool to cut out a piece of one feature class using one or more of the features in another feature. So our input features, so as you can see, input feature, the feature to be clipped. So the feature to be clipped is the towns, to what we just uploaded. So you select it, and it's in, so you click on the next one, so the clip feature. So the clip feature here is just our region of interest, so you can give it a name and remember to save it in your folder action and click on OK. So if your clipping is successful, it's going to show here, or you can do that by unchecking. So as you can see, if you uncheck this, what you are going to arrive at. If you uncheck this, it's gone. So we wait a while for the feature to process. Okay, so the feature has been clipped. So as you can see, this here G8 Towns clip 1. So we can uncheck this, and as you can see, it has been clipped nicely and for us. So our overlay feature has been clipped into our input feature. So you see all this noise here, has been clipped into just, so the overlay feature has been clipped just into our input layer, as we can see here. So this is the only section we need and what we need to perform our spatial analysis. So this is one of the geoprocessing tool. So the next tool we like to do here is to perform the buffer. So the buffer tool are just proximity functions. I do hope we remember that. So the buffer tool, as you can see, geoprocessing tool that creates buffer polygons around input features to a specified distance. So we'll enable it, and it's asking for our input feature. So our input feature here will be our clip count, and you give it a name and you select the distance. So we like to use meters. So as you can see here, specifies the shape of the buffer at the end of a line input. This parameter is not valid for polygon input features. So the buffer features best work with points and features. And we can select a unit, so let's say 400 meters, and we click on OK. And as you can see here, so it has been successful. So you see, it has created a boundary or a proximity around this point feature here. So let's say you have town A here, and then you want to know how um, you want to know the proximity of each of the towns from one point to the other. You can use the buffer tool. So another way to also calculate is to select your measurement tool and measure. So to measure a distance, draw a line to measure and click on the area to measure. So we like to measure from here to here, and as you can see, so the length is in 0.003623 decimals and degree. So this is the boundary or the proximity function of the buffer tool. So if you want to also see how this is far from this town, so from here to here, you can perform it. So let's say from here to here, you can perform it from here to here. So this is basically what the buffer tool is all about. So for the next feature, we would like to see what the intersect tool is about, or the union tool is about, or the merge tool is about. But before then, let's try to create a map out of this. So let's say you have now performed your clip and your buffer, and you now want to map this. So it's very easy to create a map. So there are two ways. So you can come beneath here. So we have the layout view and then the data view. So the data view is what you have here, and the layout view is what, or where you'll be creating your maps. So to activate it, you can click here, and you see it comes in a layout view. So basically, sometimes whatever you do here affects what you do in your layout view. So you see, should we zoom out a little, it will appear here as such. So let's assume this is okay, and then we would like to create maps. So what are the features of maps? So from our previous videos, we know that some of the qualities of a good map should include a title, a legend, a scale, and at least your north arrow. So you are going to start by creating a beautiful map out of this central region town. So to do that, you can come to your insect, and you can see we have the title, the text, the dynamic text, the neat line, legend, north arrow, scale bar, and what have you. So we need a title. So we can say a town in central region, a town in central region. Or let's make it simple. So let's say a town. Okay, let's maintain the town in central region. So we can click on OK. Let's make it caps, town in central region. Click on OK, and as you can see, it has been positioned here, so you can change it if you want. And we like to add a legend. So as you can see, this is what is going to appear here. So we have your map layer, and then we have the legend item. So this section shows what you wish to appear in your legend items, and this section here is what you have here, your map layers. So if you want it, you can click and you select it, then it goes there. If you don't want it, you can bring it back here, it will come back. So let's say we don't want this, you can take it back, and you can take off the ones you don't want. So we can also take this back. So we have the GH towns clip buffer and then the 216 districts. So we can click on OK or next. Then we can give a legend a title. So we can maintain the legend and you can change the font color or the size. So let's say you want to use 16 and you can change the font too. So we like to use this and you can click on OK and you can activate your legend border. So how you will want your border to look like. So you can use this. You can choose a background. So let's say we want to use a blue background and we can say we want a shadow. So we can say aqua blue shadow. So these are our map items. You can change the width and the height and you click on next. So as you can see, you can also change this. So this is how it's going to appear. So you can change the spacing between them and you can click on finish to get it done for you. So as you can see here, so we have our legend item, we have the GH towns clip buffer, which are the dots, and then we have the 216 district select, so just this boundary. And then also you can add your no you can add your north arrow. So as you can see, north arrow, we have different types of north arrow depending on the one you would like to use. So let's go for this one and OK, and it's appear here. So you can also change the location of this, and also our map needs. So also you can basically change the map items, the layout if you don't want. So you can do that by clicking on it. So let's say you want to take off the shadow and the background, apply and OK. So as you can see, it has been changed. So you can drag it to anywhere. So let's further add our scale. So to do that, you come to insert our scale bar, and we have different types of scale. So depending on what you want to use, you can select, then OK, then it's here nicely for you. So assuming you want to add a text information, you can use this and your map will be neatly done. So also for the neat line, you can customize a border around your map. So anyhow you want to use it. Let's say you want to use the single nautical dash, and then we want blue background. Let's say we don't want a shadow. We click on OK, and then this is what we are going to arrive at. So you can also do that, insect and neat line, and you can say I want to add a blue background or a shadow, and it's there nicely. And also the next thing is you want to do is to enable your grid. So as you can see, this is um our border line and then our background. So you can change it at any time. So let's say you would like to add a grid system, or you want to, let's say, change your um the size of your document. So to do that, you can right click, then come to page and print setup and select the type you want. So you want an A4, an A3, A2, depending on what you want. So let's say we want an A4. So you can either choose a portrait or a landscape mode, and you can further change the width. Then when you're done, you click on OK. So as you can see, our paper size has changed. And the next thing we want to do is to enable our grids. So the grids will help us find or give our map a location. So it could be in degrees, minutes, seconds, or just in meters or kilometers, or just in easterns and northerns. So to do that, you right click on your map, then click on properties and select grids. So as you can see, we are now coming to add a grid. So you click on new grid, and which do you want to create? So is it graticules? So these are examples of graticules. So divide the maps by meridian and parallels. So this, I already have this on my previous video, so you can go back and watch on this. And then we have the measured grids. So this is an example of a measured grids. And then we have the reference grids. So divide map into grid for indexing. So we want to use the graticule. Then we click on OK. Then you can change or the axis or your line style and the labeling, how you want the style of the text to look like. Then you click on next, and then it says place a simple border at the edge of graticule, or place a calibrated border at the edge of graticule, or place a neat line. So whichever one you want to use, then you click on finish. So as you can see, it's here. And then you can also want to enable our coordinate system. So the coordinate system is automatically set. So WGS 1986. Then apply, yes, and OK. So as you can see, this is what we have. So should you zoom in, you can see the coordinate systems are in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So this is an example of how to create a nice map from performing the various geoprocessing tools. So we learned how to use the buffer and the clip tool. So in our next videos, we are going to learn how to perform the intersect and the union, the merge, and the dissolve tools. So also to save this nice map you have created, if you do a mistake, you can go back. You can do that by saving it, file, export map. The menu appears and you give it a name, and you save it as a file type you want, whether you want it in a GIF, a TIFF, a PNG, a JPEG, any file format you want to use, a PDF. Then you give it a name. So let's say you want to save it as a picture format, so PNG. Save it nicely and it's done for you. So guys, thank you very much for watching today's video, and I do hope you will enjoy this session. See you in the next session of geoprocessing. Thank you.